All right, so here we go ahead and we start basically learning Django back. All right, so I'll open Visual Code, VS Code. If you want to open VS Code, you can go and you can directly start handling terminal here. You need not to go to Python. You can start handling the project here. For example, so far we've created many projects, and if I want to create a new project, right, how do you do that, and how do you create a new project? Right, so far those who are having problem running projects will follow the same, right? You can either go with the PowerShell or you can go with the the default terminal, but still I'm at the PowerShell. Okay, I can say now I'm already in the user directory. If you want to go to the user directory, you can type cd user, right? It's just the directory name that you're typing, so it's not found, so I'll say dir. And these are the directories that are available in user directory, right? So C users user, I'll say cd Django projects, all right? And in case if you don't still have problems, you can say pip install, all right? You can run pip install Django command from here as well. Those who are having problems, they can install pip install Django. You can install Django using this platform. Requirements already satisfied, but you should go through, right? So then it's going to solve all the problems. If you're having problems in linking the environment variables, right? So you can install Django from here, and it's going to solve majority of your problems, right? And after installing the Django, you can check the version of the Django. You'll say Django -- admin, right? And you can say space -- version, right? Okay, so I have some mistakes, so I can say Django -- admin, so it's not -- single -admin, Django -admin space -- version, so you'll get version 2.2.2. Django is installed. Now I want to start a new project. And how do you start a new project, right? If you want to run it in a virtual environment, you can go ahead and make basically you can make a virtual environment, all right? And the virtual environment that we previously made from the command prompt can be made here as well. But since the virtual environment is already there, and those who do not have virtual environment present can do mk, which is make virtual, right, env. So those who do not have env folder and those who cannot access env folder from here, you can say, right, mk virtual env. You can run this command, and you can name the virtual environment as my web app. So the name of the virtual environment is my web app. I can start this virtual environment right here. Now you can see, right, starting the virtual environment. Now what is the virtual environment? You know that we basically run websites on the web server, right? And here we are making our own computer act as a web server and virtually trying to configure website right here. All right, okay, now that's done. My Avast antivirus is basically scaling and scanning everything, right? So this thing is done. All right, and what is the third thing that you have to do? Just wait a second. Okay. I suppose still installing the virtual environment. I will have to give it a bit of time. Okay, I'll pause the video till the time this virtual installation completes. All right, the virtual environment, now you can clear see, is installed here, right? It's just for those who do not get env folder and those who are failing configuring it, right? So now the third thing, the least, I'll go to the Django directory of projects. So I'll say cd Django -projects that I have just made, right? And if you want to make a new project now, you can go ahead and start making a new project. If you want to go to that virtual environment, right, we have made the virtual environment is my web app. So this is the name of the virtual environment. Okay, Django project, so I'll say dir Okay, we haven't made any project yet. So I'll make a project, right? So I will make a project, I'll make a new project right here. And to make a new project, you will say Django dash admin start project, and you'll name it NID KMR. For example, NID Kashmir is the project name. I'll make a project. So today the different thing is that I'm not using any command prompt yet, right? So I'm using the same thing. So I'll go to CD NID KMR. So now this is my project that I have made so far, right? Okay. Now I want to start the server. You can start the server here. So you can say Python, right? Or you want to open the project first. So let me go ahead and say open folder, right? I'll repeat file, open folder, and that is NIT KMR. I'll say select the folder, and here we go, your project is open. So we have been able to open the project. All right. All right, and this is NIT KMR. Now you will say that there is no env file, so that's absolutely no problem. Right? Those who are not getting it, it's still not a problem. Those who are getting it, it's still no problem. Now if I open folder, let's say I open another project which is NIT SGR, let's say about, right? So I'll open this folder, NIT SGR. Right, so this is again another editor. Now this is what is in front of you. So you can work. Oh, I have closed down this VS Code. So I will say VS Code. Okay, I have this project now, NID SGR. You can work with any other project, and these are the open editors, right? So you can handle them and you can work with them, and these are the files that we have already dealt with. We have URLs, we have this, we have manage, right? I'm showing you again so that if you have a nice start, those who are not able to configure may at the end of the day, right, hate this. So I don't want you to hate it, right? Okay, now that's here. We have an error. Command not prompt. So I'll say Python slash manage.py. We know that manage.py is right here. We'll call the same manage.py and run server, right? So I'm running the server, and this should start the server using this here. This is the URL of the server. So I'll say control, hold down the control key and click, and here we go. Installed and working successfully. Now your Python is working absolutely fine, right? And now you have already downloaded and installed, and each and everything is working fine, right? And you have also done pip install virtual environment. Now if you're not able to handle it, you can even type this right here. So you can go and type pip, go to the okay, I'll say exit, just a moment. Right, we have terminal. I will say new terminal. So I'm going to open new terminal because the first terminal already has that server started. So I'll go to the Python, or you can go to the PowerShell, whatever you want to go to. Okay, now I'm at the PowerShell. So I'll say pip install virtual env, and you don't name that way virtual env. Do not name virtual env. Right, so yours is mine is installed. Yours should go through, and it is for those who are still having problem in installing, right? Okay. Now we'll be handling few apps right here. Just like I told you that this is going to be your entire project, and entire project can have many apps. Right, your project can have register, can be an app, login can be an app, and many different apps. Right, we can have comment section as an app if you are making a social networking site, right? So you can have different apps. Apps can act as modules using Django. Is that clear now? Right, so I will just make an app. I'll say Python. This is a file that you call manage.py, and we have to start an app, and I call this as register. Now let's see how it goes. Now we have this error right here. Register conflicts with the name of the existing Python module. No problem, I'll make reg. Right now you can clearly see that the app reg is being created right here. Still no env. Don't try and search that I don't have env and have that. You'll come to know. Right now you can clearly see that we have an app, and this is my entire project right here. So this thing is done, right? So now we have been able to do that. Okay, and now this is the app, this is the project, and this is the app is reg and the project is NIIT. Right, and this is we are not handling this at this moment in time, so we're not going to do anything with this, right? Okay, so now I told you that you need to access the app. To access the app, we need to map. Look, this is what happens, and this is what is already defined in the framework. You have to follow certain guides, certain rules, certain regulations, right? So you have to map and define all the URLs. You can use either the main URL file, but what I do, I recommend you to use another URL file for app. And every app should have its own URL file, so that once you are making a big project, you don't mess up, right? Or you don't, mess up creating files, and you don't, create too many files. You don't create a single file with too much of data, right? That's why we do divide, right? So we divide it here. I'll go make sure that this app is selected, and I will go with a new file, and I call this as urls.py. .py is an extension for Python files, and you already know. And now this is quite empty right here, right? And now what you got to do is that anyone who visits a URL, so for that I am going to use a list URL. Now if I show you the main URL file, I'll go to the Python, and this is urls.py. So let me delete this so I don't have to. Okay, now you have from Django, right, and contrib import admin and import path. So now anyone who types this path right here, which is going to be admin slash, will be redirected to the admin URL. So now if I type slash admin right here, so I'll be redirected to the Django administration module. So let's not talk about the Django administration module as of now, but yeah, it's the mapping is there, right? So I can add another path. I can add as many paths as I can. So let's say about, I don't want this, I want to return something back to the file, right? Or for that, what I do right here, I'll go and create an array URL patterns, and it is going to be a list that we are creating with paths. So I'll say path, right? So we'll have to import the path, so we'll import it. Okay, so now path is going to be if someone types nothing, if it's the root. Now in Python, you know that double string, double quotes also mean string, and single quotes also mean string in Python. So I'll say views, right? So I am targeting views, and now you can go ahead and see those views in the open editor. So we have views, we have models, we have different things right here. Right, and I will target the file views.py. Okay, we have this file here, views.py. So I'll target by typing the name of the file, views. All right, and I can say dot home, and we have not made it yet. All right, so there's nothing in the views known as home, so we're not created anything as of now here, right? And if you want to create, what I do, that means every single thing that's been requested over the URL will be a function. So I'll say define home, and it takes request, because I already told you web is all about request and the response. Whenever you load a specific page, the request that is executed is get request. Always remember that. And then when you explicitly make any request, that is post request. Get is used to retrieve the data from the server. Post is used to process the submitted data or submit data, right? So now this is the normal function that I have defined. I will say return, right? I will return a string, but what is it? You are taking the request. What do you give? You give the response. So I'll say HTTP response, right? So there are no suggestions because I'll have to import. Let's say I am learning Django again, right? So this is how it goes. I am learning Django again. Now you're returning it as HTTP response. The moment you start saving it, right, you are bound to get exposed to few errors right here, because what is HTTP response? Now what you can do right here, okay, is hit control, or you can just go ahead and say from, right, Django dot HTTP, right, this is the file name. I can say import HTTP response, or you can say import, you can directly say import import Django dot HTTP as, you can import Django dot HTTP as Django, or you can say HTTP, right? You have imported Django dot HTTP as HTTP. Now what you can do is do the following. You can say HTTP dot HTTP response. So this is also going to work, right? And now we need to import the rendering. Okay, so that's what we can do. We can do both the things, but the better is to do from Django dot HTTP import, okay, HTTP response, right? So this is what you can do. I'll say this and I'll say both the things are possible. Both the things are actually working, right? So those who know Python, you know that, right? If I say only from, if I say Django import Django.http, then you'll have to prefix HTTP response. All right? Okay, so we have some kind of an error right here. All right, so I don't know what sort of error do we have here. Views.py return as HTTP response. Okay, why do I terminate? Sorry, as if I'm learning, I'm using Java or JavaScript. I forgot that we are using Python and we are recording it here. Okay, fine, that's done. So now this is the function home. It's nothing, right? It takes one parameter, that is request, and returns I am learning Django again as HTTP response back to the function. So now this is your function. Now what I do, I'll go to the urls.py of my application and I'll say I want to return views dot, right, and I'll say the function name HOME. So this is the function name that I will be returning. That is you know, the function name that I'm returning is basically the same, okay, and it contains many different things. Let's try using it here first. This is the list, right, and what I do right here in the list is use a URL patterns as a list, right, and call the function and also say name and give it a name that you are going to access it from the URL, that is home. Just give it a name so we don't have to give anything else. Right, so now we'll have to do some import from Django dot URLs. What do we want to import? We want to import path. Now path is imported. Now we are using the same path right here. Okay, so now we have done it from Django.urls. Okay, we still have this error now because we have to render. And how do you render? We render many applications and we'll say from Django, right, or we can say from all import, views. Now we have imported views, no error in views. Now I say views dot. The moment I say dot, now you can see that there is a function known as home. Right, so this thing is done. Now if I go and I just type nothing, so I'll go ahead and say /home. Alright, so this is, now you can see page not found 404. The request method is get. Why? Because the first time you load the file is going to be the get. Alright, okay, so this is how you load your file for the first time. Okay, so the first time file execution and file load is going to be get, right, unless you explicitly load post, right. जब भी आप पहली बार एक्सेस करेंगे फाइल को, ठीक है, किसी भी फाइल को आपको एक रेस्पॉन्स कोड मिलेगा, इसको रेस्पॉन्स 404 मिला है, हम कौन सा रेस्पॉन्स कोड चाहते हैं, वी वांट रेस्पॉन्स कोड 200. दैट मीन द ओनली टाइम व्हेन वी गेट रेस्पॉन्स कोड 200 मीन्स ओके एंड द पेज इज displayed, right? Okay, still we are getting error 404, means we have some sort of problem right here. I'll go ahead and see the problem. Now the problem is that this app is not accessible, right? The main app reg is not accessible from the main Django file. So I'll go to urls.py. This is my main urls.py, and what I do after comma, I will add one more path. So I'll say path, right? And I'll say path is going to be, if someone types nothing, let's say about home, all right, you are going to load a path which is going to be let's say about login incl. I'm calling include the file, and what is the file name that we want to include? Right, it is inside the app login, or no, not the login, reg. So include the file reg, and inside we have a file known as urls.py. So I will add reg.urls, and all the files that we are using have they get that .py extension. So I don't have to add a py extension right here because all the files do get that automatically. But yeah, we still have this problem right here, right? That we have many different problems. Now how do you get rid of these problems? Okay, now we have this problem right here, undefined variable include. Have you imported include? I say no, we have not included. I'll say comma include. So now we have imported path and we have imported include, right? And now we may get something if I load it, right? So there's no home defined, so I'll go. Now you can see I am learning Django again. Now if you want this to be fired from a specific URL, you can say okay, if someone types home, then include this reg urls file. So now if I go ahead, I get this page not found, right? And now if I say home, I get this I am learning Django again. And now this particular thing is known as routing, right? We call this as URL routing in Django, right? This is that you are basically linking, or you are mapping a particular file, particular function, right? So I'll give you the perspective and the definition for the same. So you're marking a particular file, or you're marking a particular function with a URL. So URL, what URL are you typing? So if I say that we are typing the URL, right, that is your website name, www.website.com. So when you type only website.com, what do you want to happen? Now let's say, right, if you type URL as website.com/contact, right? And what if the URL is www.website.com/about, right? And what if the URL is www.website.com/ let's say about nothing, or we can say gallery, whatever it is. So now how do you make it possible, and how do you do it in URL settings? So now the moment you go right here, what do you have to do now? You don't have to do anything because you're already included, right? Anyone who types home will get this, right? Or anyone who types anything will get this. So let's say any types who types anything will get this without home. That means the directly. When you don't mention any segment of the URL here, because if I tell you this is the segment 1 of the segment 0 of the URL, and this is segment 1 of the URL. So this is segment number 0. So I'll write it down, segment 0 of the URL, right? And this is going to be segment 1 of the URL. Oh, sorry, it's going to be segment 0 of the URL, and this is going to be segment 1 of the URL, right? And you can continue, right? So you can go to segment 2, segment 3. Now, if you don't type anything here, that means you're calling the segment 1. If anyone calls segment 1, what is going to happen? You're going to include a file reg URLs, right? So inside reg application URLs is going to be executed, right? And now if you're typing nothing at all, you are going to view a file known as home, right? So that's absolutely fine. So I don't have any problem. I'll go ahead to my file right here, and what I do is I will say, hey, this is my home page, right? And now create another function. Now see, we can create as many functions as you want. Second function, I can create third function, I can create fourth function, right? All right, so this is my function, and this is my another function. This is my another function, so indentation has to be there properly. Now the second function that I'll say is going to be contact, contact. Right, the third file that it is going to be is about. The fourth request is going to be gallery. Hey, this is my home page. Hey, this is my, let's say, contact page, and I'll say, hey, this is my about page, and this is my contact page, and hey, this is my gallery page. As simple and as simple as anything. Now what is going to happen in your urls.py, which is in your application? You can either do it there or you can do it somewhere else. So now I will say those who call, let me just go ahead in this URLs pattern, right? Those who type reg, right, or those who type accounts will get to access this file, and those who type, or let's say all. So let me do it there only. So whatever you type, you're going to get redirected to urls.py. So inside urls.py, right, so I'll just put a comma here because I will be using a list, so I'm using a list rather than this. Okay, no, I have to use, I'll be using a list right here, sorry. Alright, so now I am using a list. I'll add a comma and I'll say path. Whenever anyone tries to access, let's say about contact, alright, what do you want to do? You want to go to views and fire the function or the method contact. Is that clear now? And you can give it a name if you want to give it a name. So I'll say name is equal to contact or contact page, and third one, and now so on and so forth. Third, fourth, right? Our name is equal to about, and name is equal to gallery, right? So I'll say comma and I'll say comma. Okay, and here we have to go to views.about. Here I'll go to views.gallery, right? And the path is going to be contact slash, and here the path is going to be about slash, and here the path is going to be gallery slash. Is that clear? Right, so let's see the segments now. If I go, this is my home page because I am starting the page. I have not typed anything as of now. I'm accessing the website directly. And now what you are doing here, by default, you are running on port 80. Alright, what you do when you start your web application, you start your web application on port 80. So I'll go ahead and start, right? So that means when we do not mention any port number, by default, the HTTP website or any website that you access starts on port 80, because the port 80 is already reserved in my computer. That's why we're starting our website on a different port. So this is the port. Instead of URL, instead of www.mywebsite.com, right, you are using HTTP 127.0.0.1, or if you want to use the URL as HTTP and you want to access it as LOCAL host, then you can access that locally. That means you are accessing the website directly without typing any segment of the website, right? So this is what we are doing. If we're not accessing any segment, we're not typing any segment. What if I type home? I'm still getting page not found. Why do I get this? So I don't have anything like /home here, right? Home page is executed without any segment. Now, where do we require segments? We require segments for about. This is my about page. We require segments for contact. So this is my contact page. These are known as friendly URLs, which are very helpful in search engine optimization. Okay, and now for example, if I say GALLERY gallery, so I'm accessing gallery. Now what is happening? The framework is going to take, your web service is going to take the requested segment of the URL, right, and directly go and check the segment of the URL in the urls.py here. But since you are including another urls.py here, alright, it's going to refer URL to this urls.py, and wherein it's going to find the path and execute a particular function, alright, against the segment of the URL. You're going to execute a particular or a certain function right here, alright. And now for example, why do you require paths of different apps, right? For example, I create a new app, and how do you create a new app? So I'll just create, alright, so I don't want to conda.activate base, so I'll say I've already done start project, so I'll have to manage and start app. Do I have to type it again? Okay, start app register. I don't want to start as, let's say I start an app known as accounts. Now I have an app accounts right here. Now you can see accounts is already there, so I'll close down this reg. Okay, and now I have an app accounts right here. Okay, fine. So I have this app accounts right here. What I do right here now, okay, I go ahead and let me just clear this, and let me just clear this include, right? Okay. Okay, I'll go to my app accounts and I'll say, go inside accounts, make a new file, urls.py. Now, what do you expect in accounts to be? Let me copy this first from here. I'll just close it down. Now, what do you expect, okay, you are, just a moment, I'll have to. Alright, I'll just delete it. I want to save anything here. So this is urls.py of accounts. Now you can clearly see urls.py of accounts. I'll copy paste this. These are the things that I want to handle. Now what is it that you want to handle here? Alright, so let me delete all here. So let me delete everything from views. I don't want these things. Right, what do you want to handle here? Alright, so I will create this URL patterns right here, and I'll go to my urls.py of my application. So that means anything that you type, not anything, only when you type accounts. Alright, only when you type accounts will you be using or including the file known as accounts, right, which is the application, yani ki app name. And there is a file known as urls in this accounts, right? Okay, only when you type accounts. Now let's see what are we going to get if I type /accounts. Alright, I type /account is going to generate a server-side error, right? Because it's refused. So it is of course going to generate a server-side error. Anyone types account goes to accounts urls. Now what is inside account URL? There is no URL pattern. So now can we define few URL patterns here as well? I'll say yes. Why can't we define few URL patterns? Right, if someone types login, all right, if someone types login / right, you go and execute the function login in the views, right? So I'll go to views, and let's say we have a function here known as login. So right, hey, this is my login page, right? So I'll say, hey, this is my login page. So let's see, Right, accounts is not going to give you anything, 404. And if I say I need login, now how many segments I am going to go through? I'm going through many segments right here. All right, so using URLs confined defined, Django tried these URL patterns but could not find any result. Now what is happening? The first thing that's executed is basically this urls.py, right? Whenever you type accounts, you are going to get this accounts.urls, all right? And then if you go to this accounts.urls, all right, if anyone types this pattern, or let's say about if anyone types no pattern at all, you are going to execute the function known as views dot, no, not views dot, what is the function name that we create? Login. Okay, so you are going to execute this function views dot log in. So why aren't we getting this login? I don't know why. Import views, that's here. Views has no login member. Why? Okay, let me go ahead and say cancel. Okay, so this is my register. I'll just close it down, and these are migrations. So this is account, and there is, okay, sorry, my views.py is not defined right here. So I'll define it here because we have to access the views.py file of the same application, right? Okay, now I've accessed it. Okay, I'll have to import these things, so I'll just copy importing these things. Fine. All right. Okay, now go to urls.py and see whether the error is cleared. Yes, login is now accessible. So I'll save this, and there should not be any error now. We have a problem, HTTP response. No, we don't have any problem. Everything is running fine. So now if I go to accounts, now you can clearly see name HTTP response is not defined. Why? We defined HTTP response. Okay. Why isn't this defined? Alright, so I will say from Django.http import, alright, import import HTTP response. Okay, now it's defined. Now let's see whether we're able to get the proper response. Yes, this is my login page, but hey, that's not what my intention is. My intention is having a double segment. So I'll say I want to go to login now. Now you're done, you've separated your segments. Now if you go to login, you will be able to get, this is my login page. Now, but where are you? You're an account segment. Now this is how we beautify segment side application development here, right? Now if someone types, now see, because under accounts, what do you have? You have login, you have register. What else do you have? You have profile, right? You can have logout and many different things whatsoever is coming under accounts, and we'll have to make the same register, profile and logout in the views. So I'll make 3 more functions right here. So one is going to be register, profile and logout. So it's going to be log out, this is going to be profile, and this is going to be register, right? So segment side, we are completely handling the segment side. Define login, register. Now this is my login page, this is my register page, and this is my profile page, and this is my log out page. Alright, so double. Now what is the difference between the previous thing that I've shown you and what is the difference between the, now we are using segment. Now if I copy this, I'll show you the difference, right? Right, so how many segments are we using? If we are using segment 0 is here, right? Segment 1, which is accounts, right? There was no segment 2, now we're using segment 2. That I want to separate my account segment and have different controllers and views for my account segment. right? So that's why I'm separating it. Now if I go to login, this is my login page. If I go to log out, so this is my login page still. I don't know why, because I have yet to change maybe. All right, so this is, no, I have yet to change, yeah, because I'm accessing the same function, and here I will access register, here I will access profile, and here I will access the function log out. It's as simple as anything. All right, so this is the basics. So log out, this is my logout page, and this is my profile page. So this is double side, right? So now what if someone types nothing at all, right? What if someone is not typing any segment at all? So what is going to happen? Page not found. Right, so how do you handle that page not found error right here? So go back to your main urls.py and see, are you handling? No, you're not handling anything right here. So I'll say, hey, I need to handle it, and for that, if someone does not type anything and tries to access the home directory, right, what you got to do is you say I'll go to my views.py right here, and I'll actually go to the views.py of not the accounts, not the application, no app. I'll go urls.py, and there's no view because we have to create separate views right here. All right, so this is urls.py. I'll say if someone types nothing at all, right? So I will make another app right here if you want. So I'll say start app home, right? So I'll start, and I'll start another app known as home, right? So now we have another app known as home. Now if you're not typing anything at all, right, you are including a file inside home, 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 known as URLs. So now, is there any file known as URLs in the home? No, it's not. So it's a urls.py. So now we have this urls.py right inside home. This is the main urls.py of the application, and IT Srinagar application, and this is the urls.py of the yes, please tell me. Right, it's of home application. So I don't want to move anything, sorry. So I'll save this. So this is my urls.py. I have to rename it. I did not choose py, so I'll say urls.py, Python extension. All right, so I've saved this. Now what is going to happen if someone is a main view, right? If I go to urls.py, if someone types admin, you go here, and if someone types nothing at all, if someone tries to access the base directory, you go to home.urls. So here I go to the home.urls. Now you clearly see where is home. Let me close it down. So this is home, and this is urls.py of my home. So I'll just delete these two. If someone types nothing at all, right, I will say I want to include right in the views.py. So these are the views of my this application, home application. I'll copy this function right here, okay, and the function name is going to be home page, right? This is the function name, home page. Hey, this is my home page. That's it, we're done. Okay, I'll go to my views, urls.py, right, and we'll see that this is my urls.py, and here what I will do is load the application. I'll be loading the application right here in the URLs pattern. So the function name that I've already created, perhaps, right? Yeah, I've already created that. So I'll say views dot, I'm not getting it. No. What did we create? Views.py. Okay, we created home page, so we have to save this. So I'll say views dot home page, and I'll call this, I'll say name, right? Name is equivalent to home page. Okay, let's save this. Okay, now let's see what happens. Loading the application for the first time, we have a serious error right here. Okay, what is this? Okay, we have some kind of comma right here, so I'll just get rid of this. Okay, load. Still have an error right here. Okay, okay, views. Why? Why didn't I import? So I'll say from all import views. From all import views. So that's absolutely no problem. Save it and run it again, and you should get the home page. We still have an error right here. I don't know, but we don't have any error right here. Okay, do we have? No, we don't have any error right here. So why do we get an error? Do we get an error if I say accounts/login? Yeah, we are getting an error. So maybe the error is with the main views.py. Sorry, main urls.py. Okay, if someone types admin, okay, we have done it. Yeah, we are wrong. Home is not on the base of accounts. If someone types nothing, right? If someone types nothing means is trying to load the base directory, include home, right? Go inside home and include URL. So this is home and this is URLs, right? So this is accounts URLs. So I don't want this. Where is home URLs? So this is right here. Okay, so you are loading home page. So maybe this is going to work now. Still an error. Okay, the error is with the main URLs, I suppose. If I open main URLs, okay, so let's not type anything like accounts. Account we've already seen. No, why wouldn't I? I'll say include, right? Okay then. Admin, you go to the admin site, and if you type nothing at all, you're including home.urls, and if you type /accounts, you include /accounts.urls. But this time the URL pattern is going to be nothing, then you include home.urls. So this is home URLs. Now what is the URL patterns right here? So the home URLs pattern is path nothing at all. You load views dot home page, and the name is home page. So there's no error at all. Why do we have an error here then? There's no error at all. Conda, so I'll just say go to home page. We still have an error right here, so just a moment. I'll go to main urls.py, so just let me delete this and see what is good. If I reload it, now still have an error. I don't know what sort of error do we get. Okay. What if I type accounts/login? Site refused to connect. Is my server started or what is wrong? When I type accounts, then we include accounts. So if I'll just close all the applications. So we have one application known as Reg, another home, and then third is accounts. If I go to accounts, we have urls.py, and these are the things that we use login, right? And these are the functions that we access views.login and every single thing. So that's absolutely no problem, right? Connection. The site cannot be reached. Refuse to connect. Maybe we have closed down the server, maybe server, Right, so I'll say Python manage.py run server. Right now the server is started. I'll go back to Python PowerShell and try that. Oh yeah, server shut down ho gaya tha. Sorry, my mistake. I don't know, maybe I hit Control C, that closed down the server. But meanwhile, I go back to my main file. Okay, now if someone types nothing, that means someone tries to access the root directory. You include home urls.py and you include the function home page. So this should be, yes, hey, this is my login page, and if I go to home, hey, this is my home page. Look, no URL segment absolutely being accessed, no URL segment is accessed. Now if I go to accounts, and now I have a different section. In accounts segment, I have profile, I have logout. In account section, I have login, and these are the things that are in the account section. So now how do you deal with these things? Right, and last but not the least, we are not going to define functions. We know that I've already shown you in the previous lecture that we render applications. All right, we render the applications accordingly. So I'll go to views.py. Okay, this is my home page. So now I need to build my home page, huh? Right. So we have this is our duty exactly to build the home page. So as I said, we'll be building the home page, and before that we'll be dealing with the HTTP response as well. So I'll say if I put them inside an H2 tag, what is going to happen if I put them inside an H2 tag? So you're going to get the same home page. Now you're going to get it rendered automatically by the rendering machine right here. Okay, now I don't want this. I want to work with templates, as I already shown you in the previous classes. I'll go to the settings.py of my application, right? And please don't message me that I don't have en server, I don't have en folder, I don't know why. All right, okay. So now just let me erase it, and now we know that the templates are defined somewhere. I'll go to my settings.py. Where are the templates? Okay, these are the templates right here. It's true, and now we have to access. तो इसमें सबसे ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम लोगों को आ रही थी. क्यों आ रही थी मुझे नहीं पता क्यों आ रही थी आप लोगों को प्रॉब्लम, बिकॉज मुझे भी आई थी पहले. शायद हम गलत डायरेक्टरी में टेम्पलेट्स क्रिएट करते हैं. Right, and now what we got to do is we'll go inside the main directory, that is NIT Srinagar, not inside any other application. Right, this is my main application NIT Srinagar, and I'll click here and I'll make a folder known as TEMPLATES templates. Now I'll check whether the templates folder is actually where I made it. So I will do this. I will go to my computer, I'll go to users, I'll go to user, and I'll go to Django dash projects NIT SR, and now you can see that the problem is here, that we are not able to find the templates directory right here. This is where the templates directory should be. So I'll again delete it. It should be there only, right? Okay, I'll just clear all. And this is my main NIT Srinagar, right, application. Click here and now go ahead with a new folder and call this as TEMPLATES templates. Now go ahead and see whether the templates folder is available. I'll say refresh node, still not available, because we have to access from the root directory. Alright, so I'll just take it here. No, it's not available still. यहीं पर सबसे ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम आती है. So this is my application. I'll just close down all the things. Alright, and this is where I intend making a folder. But see, this thing is particularly highlighted. I don't want to highlight anything right here. So these are the files, settings.py. You can see NIT Srinagar has another folder known as NIT Srinagar right here. So this is not what I want to access, maybe. Right, or if I go right here, I can clearly find templates right here, not inside the another NIT directory. Right, it should be outside. Template should be built outside, if I go to Django projects and I will say NIITKMR, right, or NITSGR. What is our project name? NITSGR. And this is where you have to make the folder, right? This is exactly here. You can see open editors. Right, so there are many different things right here. So this is where you intend making the directory. Now, if you cannot make directory, you can directly go to Django project and make a folder known as templates. You can go ahead and make a folder known as templates, right? So now then we have already created a folder templates. You want it to be accessible from here. You can refresh. All right, you can refresh it here. Refresh the Explorer. It's not having this yet. Right. It's still not coming. How do you refresh it? I don't know. Okay. Maybe we'll close them first to see whether it's coming. So I'll say save. Alright, so we close down everything and see whether we can access the templates directory. Now we don't have any templates directory. So let's say I'll say close down this folder. Now close the folder because I manually made a folder. I'll say open folder. And what I would rather do here is open folder, and I'll open the folder NITSGR and see whether the templates directory is now accessible and available. Okay, it's still not available. Let's see. I made something wrong. I made a mistake perhaps. I don't know how, but yeah. I am at NIIT. Okay, I just made it outside. I'm sorry. I have to go to NITSGR and then make a templates directory right here. And the moment I made the directory, now you can see the directory is available. मेरा दिमाग खराब है, पता नहीं कहाँ पर बना दी थी मैंने. Not outside, here. I made it here. You have to go inside the project NITSGR, and I can clearly see templates directory is available here. Now I will create a new file right here. I'll call this as home.html. Now this is the file that is going to act as my HTML file. The moment you type this, just click on this doc type HTML and just click here HTML, or you can just say doc type HTML, a preamble for an HTML document. Alright, so you can go ahead, and you can open HTML tags and you can close HTML tag. Alright, and what does an HTML tag have? It has heading tag, and you can close head, and inside head we can have a title tag, and here we can have a body tag. So now I can go ahead and say h1 right here. Hello all. Now this is my home page, dynamic, app development starts here. Alright, so now I made this file. I'll go back to my the project and open settings.py, and now this is where I have to mention the project directory. Again, say you go to the relative path, which is os.path.join on the path what base dir. That's why we kept it in the base dir, otherwise we would not. And what is the name of the directory? templats, or you can say views, whatever you name this directory. Not necessarily you name it as templates, whatever you name it as, it is going to be available as. Now the first thing is this, and the last thing is go back to your home page, and you go to your views.py, and now you have to do change right here. Now you have to return not HTTP response but render. You have to return a rendered response which is inside Django shortcut. So I can say from Django.shortcuts, I will say import a render. So now we have imported render. I render now not the string that I need to render. I don't need to render a string. I need to render the request as a response, and the response is coming from templates home.html. So now with the C, we'll be able to upload this directory home.html. Oh, still have an error perhaps. Maybe we just close down the server again. Who knows? Alright, so I'll run server from here rather than there. It gets closed again and again, right? So how do you start a server? By writing the command. Yes, tell me. Right, good. So we will start the server now. Alright, so I'll call the file known as Python manage.python. py is Python. Alright, so this is where you call, this is what you call every time, whether you have to start an application or anything like that. Whether you have to start an application, start an app, or you have to start a server, does not matter. Whatever you want to start, you call this manage.py and you say run server. Okay, cannot open. So Django projects, I'll say cd nit km sgr, and I'll call Python manage py run server. Alright, so now it remains open. So now I'll refresh. Hello all, now this is my home page. Dynamic application development starts here. Now you're not typed anything, you're executing it, and now you're getting a page. And for example, I'll go to my templates and have many templates as I want, as many templates as you want. I'll go ahead and say I want to create a new file, and I call this as contact, right? Or you can say I call this as login.html. Alright, I create a new file again here. Alright, logout.html. Home.html, login.html, logout.html, and I have profile.html. Okay, so I created profile.html, logout.html, login.html, home.html. Alright, so now I can use these files again just like I used them here from Django.shortcuts import render. I'll save this. Alright, and this is my views.py, and now I'll go to my application accounts, and I'll go to views.py, and I'll be using the same methodology there as well. So let me save this. Right, and now this is my account, so views.py, and what are my functions? Right, my functions are login, so I'll return the page that I already created in templates, right, that is login.html. Alright, so I'll say login, I'll return alright, so I will return login, and I will render login.html here. Now where is login.html? It's here. Write it down here, write whatever you wish to. I'll copy this HTML code and take it to login page, and hello all, now this is my login page. This is my login page, as simple as anything. So this is my home page, absolutely fine. Still okay, maybe the server, I still have a server problem right here. Yes, there's no attribute register, so server is going to create, right? So we have return bootstrap problems. Okay, I'll say shift break, control C, Account has no attribute register. Accounts.views has no attribute register. Okay, accounts.views this account.views has no register. What is this? Why do we have a problem here? Okay, still I'm closing it down like this. Sorry. All right. So define. Okay, we have all the things here. So we don't have any error maybe. Yeah, we have login and we are returning login.html. So we should not have any problem right here. We still have a problem. What is the error? Account.view has no attribute register. So where is the attribute register that we are calling? We're not calling any attribute register here. Are we? Yes, we are calling it in the urls.py. Alright, so we're calling these things, okay? So this is it. Fine. Refresh. And what is the error now? You can read has no attribute register. So now I'm not using any attribute register right here. Okay, why don't I close it down and say cmd command prompt. So I will say, so I'll say cd django Django dash projects. So I will say cd nitsgr Python, right, manage.py run server. Maybe because of some error, I don't know if there was any error or not. What time is it? Okay, it's already been 1 hour 6 minutes. My god. Alright, I suppose that the server starts now. I think the server is already running. Plus break. So server side error. Alright, now the server is started. Maybe we had some error earlier. Now we'll be loading the first page, that's the home page. Home page has loaded. And I'll go to accounts-login. And you can see, hello all, now this is my login page. Now you are loading it from the dynamic login page, right? Okay. So now we're loading it from the, now what is going to happen and what is happening, right? It's all about the practice. The first thing and the first file that you load after you access the application is going to be the urls.py. And what do you do? If you type admin, right, you go to the admin site. If you type nothing, you include home, which is the application again. Home page pe kya hoga? It has its own file urls, right? So you go to home.urls and include a file. And if you type accounts, and here what you do not basically do anything, but you include a file again known as accounts. And here you are handling two segments all together, right? If I go to accounts and I load urls.py, now you can clearly see after accounts there has to be login. If someone types /account, he will load urls.py of accounts, and then if he types /account/login, and then only then he is going to get this is going to go to this views.login view. And now here you are rendering an HTML page and giving it back as a response. If you have any problems, do let me know. I want to go ahead, but it's already been 1 hour 6 minutes and we have done recap of previous things and we have seen how things work. Please do not message me before before I start uploading the next lecture. Message me on time if you are having any problems, right? And I suppose if you have any problems, you can use Google and you can call me as well to get rid of all your problems. And do not search for env directory, right? Just update your virtual environment. If your virtual environment is updated, server is up and running and you are all set to go. Wish you all the best. Bye bye, take care.